Hi, beautiful people. This is Inspired with SID and Zoe, and today's topic is love enough to sustain a marriage or a relationship. Okay, guys, we are going to talk about is love enough to sustain marriage or a relationship?
Well, the reason I wanted to talk about this topic is we were watching The River.
Okay.
Ne? Then we saw this scene of this other guy who is an older gentleman who was proposing to this lady, and the lady kept on saying, "You don't have money, you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't even have your own house. What do you bring to the relationship?" And the guy said, "Love." Bringing love, and the lady was truly pissed. She was angry.
She was very angry.
So we wanted to expand on that because we felt like it was an interesting topic.
Yeah, it was, because we started thinking about it, just meditating on it, that is it possible to actually say that you are married or in a relationship and you feel like you just only have love and you can only depend on love and it can sustain you for so many years. But then on my side, I feel like love is not enough.
Love can never take you to the restaurant.
Love is not enough. For me, I think love is accompanied by so many things to make it work, to make your relationship or your marriage work, and then I have a scripture, of course, because I'm a church girl.
Yes.
I'm a church girl. There's no way I won't have a scripture. In 1 Corinthians 13 verse 4, it says, "Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails." No, love never fails, and it carries on. So I feel like love is accompanied by those things that I read about. It is not easily angered.
Yes.
There's no way that you can marry someone who does not have a good character. Because it's possible that you're in love with people, with someone,
but
they don't have a good character. They keep on cheating on you, they don't have integrity, they are easily angered, they are not patient.
So, the thing is, a lot of people, when they see a couple that is cute, they be like, "Oh, relationship goals, this is good looking, so I want to have what they have, and I want the love that they have to make my relationship work." So most of the time, people will be referring to the love that you have, not knowing that behind the love there is a lot of things. For me, I believe that love is not enough, to sustain a marriage or a relationship. But however, it is enough to get it started. It is enough to put you in that road to a good relationship. So for me, it's like this. Picture a house. Love is like a foundation of a house. A foundation is not a house, because you can have a good foundation and let's say take your bed and stay there in a good foundation. When there are storms, you will be running away. Because it's not enough, But other things, once you go into this thing called a relationship, you need other things. For example, you will need, let's say, especially for marriage, you will need maybe finances. You will need trust. You will need loyalty. Because there are a lot of people who envy love, but they don't understand that love is a responsibility.
Yeah, it is a responsibility, accompanied by respect. What my husband said is very important, that love is a pillar.
Yes.
And I love the illustration whereby you use a house, that if your house, you cannot build your house without a foundation. And again, a house without others, the walls, doors, windows. It's not a house. To be fully a house, it needs all the things that we mentioned. So, I mean, if your cake is lacking ingredients to make it nice and beautiful and eatable, yummy, I mean, that's not a cake. It'll just be a cake, boring, and people won't be having that zeal to eat the cake, a tasteless cake, a cake that is not delicious. So same as a relationship and a marriage, you work your marriage as you work your salvation. If you're a Christian, you normally work your salvation. Same as a relationship requires work. And if you do not know that and you think like, last time, she knows, it's not sustainable enough.
So now, baby, question.
Yeah.
As Africans, we do have a background of arranged marriages. So as Africans, we do have a background of arranged marriages. What is your view on that? Is it fine for me to be like, okay, I've got a lot of money, I've got a house, I've got a car, and I'm a person who respects people, and I will find a lady with similar characters without love, say, let us get married and make this thing work.
My parents chose.
Let's say I do it with my own will and just get someone who has all the other qualities except for love. Let's say I don't love you, but you are a trustworthy person. You are respectful. All those things except for love. Is it fine for me to be like, okay, you know what? Let's make this thing work. Especially because our hearts are not involved. There are less chances for you to break my heart. And cheat in there. Okay. So let's just make this thing work. Is it fine to do that? What's your perspective on that?
For me, personally, I think this is my answer, guys. For me, I think personally, you have to love someone. You have to love someone before other things come in hand. You have to love someone. A great example that I can give, a person must show love. As we said, we mentioned earlier on when we spoke about what is, do we think that love is enough and all of that, and we mentioned that love is a pillar of all these things. So meaning that it has to start with you loving me and me loving you as well, because again, we cannot say we put aside love and it does not work. No, it works because it is accompanied by all the other things, meaning that before God can bless you and everything, He first loved you.
Yeah, the Bible says, because He loved us first.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of a thing we read yesterday, and you forgot. You forgot. I thought she was going to answer with this one.
Okay.
We said, love is like salt on a meal.
Yeah.
Remember, love is like salt on a meal. You can have a good meal, but if it does not have salt, it does not have flavor.
Yeah.
You understand? It becomes this, it's like you are eating water with fork and knife. You see, there is no enjoyment.
Yeah.
You don't, after your first bite, you don't drool for the next one.
Yeah.
Because it's duma in Isuzu. Yeah, we say it duma.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting, actually.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I think
if maybe if you were not married to me, really, and now this person has all the qualities, but you do not love them.
Yeah, remember, I think it was about a year after we got married. Was it a year or just a couple of months? Whereby we went to a seminar when we were talking about somebody being suitable for you. Remember?
Yeah, I still remember.
So we discovered that for you to be in a relationship, to be in a marriage with someone, it takes more than love. No? It takes you to be a suitable partner.
Yeah. For
example, if you were my lover, if I loved you so much, but then you were cheating on me, you don't respect me, there is violence between us, undermining and all those things, close to 0% chances that we'll be married. But now you find someone who is compatible with you, who is suitable with you, especially in their character. There is a possible marriage there, but the problem is it wouldn't be nice. It would be like eating a meal without salt.
Sure.
You know,
okay. No,
yeah.
That's a beautiful answer.
Yeah. If you're like, hey, this lady, I can see that she does not have, she does not have all the characters, but she does not have love. We don't have love one another, but she has the body, she has the look, she has the money, we have the cars. We can try, but it won't be nice.
Okay. So meaning that, ne, I just want to, I have a question, ne, and like I think what you said and what we covered about love not being enough to sustain a relationship or a marriage, it means that before you get married, because marriage is asipapadi.
It's more than couple goals.
It's more than couple goals. So meaning that before you get married, just get to know your person. You know, maybe like you understand that, and while you don't really have a background of that person, you don't really know his character, because I mean in what we have explained here, it should tell you that love is not enough on its own. It's accompanied by so many things. A good character, it's accompanied by a person not holding grudges in a relationship. It's accompanied by a person, you know, so many things. Patience, you know, a person who does not, who is not self-seeking, who does not dishonor others, you know, who is kind, who does not envy. So many things.
To add on that, sorry, just to add on that, Dr. Miles Monroe says, he talks about marriage, something, he also has this perspective that we have about marriage, that it takes more than love for marriage to work. He says, he posed a very interesting question for me. He's like, a lot of people have it in their hearts to insure their cars, to make sure that they insure their houses and stuff, but they neglect their love, their relationship, their marriage, which is like a lot of times we neglect our marriage because we don't seek for advices when it comes to our marriages. It is quite seldom whereby you find a couple that has a marriage advisor.
Or marriage counselor.
A marriage counselor. You know, we don't take we don't equip ourselves when it comes to marriage. We will like, no, the way I live, you will love me the way I am, I will love you the way you are. So we don't train our muscles, you know, our marital muscles.
I love what you just said about you will love me the way I am. There's no such. You know, in marriage, you have to be willing to grow.
Yeah. You
have to be willing to grow. Like, it's a matter of growing throughout every season. You see yourself growing. You know, I'm no longer that ntlantla, you know. I'm no longer that person anymore compared to now when I'm married. And these few months I am married, you know, rather few years, I am married to my husband. I saw myself maturing quicker than when I was single, because you know, marriage will require you to grow fast, because there are decisions that you constantly have to make with your spouse.
There's no mommy and daddy.
There's no mommy and daddy and whatnot, whosoever. It's just you now having to build from scratch with your husband. And that's why it's important for both of you to sacrifice, to compromise, which are the things that accompany love as well. To sacrifice for one another, to make sure that you're willing to change for the best. You know, in God, you need to change. We constantly grow in God. We constantly change in God for His good.
That is why we constantly regard ourselves as the students of marriage, the students of marriage, because we always want to learn about our marriage. We don't want to reach a particular point, about each other, and we don't want to reach a particular point whereby we are like, we neglect things. One thing I wanted to mention before that is that marriage does not start when we put the rings on. Marriage does not start there. Sometimes the characters that we exhibit during our dating are the same characteristics that we drag into marriage. We have this mentality that, you know what, my marriage will work because I will stop cheating when I get married. It does not work like that. You work your relationship before you get even in marriage. That is why some qualities of marriage you will see them during your relationship, during your dating stage. You know? Yeah.
Wow, guys.
I once told I once told this other friend of mine that, you know what? Sometimes when people start cheating in marriage, they don't start cheating there. It's because they are cheaters before they even go into marriage. Sometimes you go into marriage thinking, you know what, this character I will stop after I get this habit, I will stop after I get married. Then you stay a couple of years, then you get tired. When the pleasures of marriage come, you start, you know, going back to the who I am.
Sure.
You know, so there is a lot that goes into marriage or into a relationship. The person that you are, even before you get married, matters.
It does matter.
It matters. The person that you are, before you get married, matters. You know, beyond love. You know, are you a respectful person?
Are you a respectful person?
Do you respect others?
Yeah.
Are you responsible? Because most of the thing is responsibilities. Yeah. Because it's not always Valentine's every day, but the love must always be there. That is why there was this time whereby we were watching, I think, a TD Jakes Simon. He was like, you wanted to be happy in marriage. You wanted to be happy. For me, I took that as like, you know what? He's right. You're not going to be happy every day. I'm sure sometimes my wife look at me like, you look at me like, I
Yeah, so basically it like you have to be in a relationship or in marriage with someone that you can actually be spontaneous with, be free with, learn something from them. They must be ambitious, you know, not lazy to work that marriage or your relationship to be this beautiful thing. You know, I mean, before you can say people are a couple goals, I mean, they have to earn it.
And every marriage is different. Every marriage is different. I don't know what your or relationship for that matter, relationship or marriage, all of them are different. I don't know what yours might be or what yours feels like. But I'm pretty much sure that what keeps it together, it's more than love.
It is more than love.
And we should remember that marriage is a God institution.
Yeah,
it is a God thing. So most of the time when it falls apart, we should always go back to its maker to fix it, because you make sure that you take your car to a mechanic when it's broken. You don't just service it, you take it to the maker. Most of the time we ignore those things because sometimes it happens that we become full of pride, you know. Things happen that maybe, let's say for example, I'm the one who's wrong, then end up not seeking counsel, not seeking wisdom from other people who know better, because we feel like we can do things on ourselves, on our own.
Well, that's so true, guys. And there's nothing I can add to what we have spoken about, but I hope you guys are inspired. I hope you took something from us and you are encouraged.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for subscribing to our page, for liking, for watching our videos. We really appreciate you, and we hope we are making a difference in your life.
Thank you.
Thank you.